What up, y'all? Welcome to the Gunslinger Gaming Frosty Pints podcast. I'm Gobi. Back with us tonight is the Doc, Omega, and Zero Burn 75. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Good holiday weekend too, and good week on top of that. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
Today
Anyway,
I saw a balloon.
was it red? Were there 99 of them?
No, there was only one. I think it was gold.
Ah, darn.
So obviously it wasn't a baby party, because those are usually blue or pink.
I went for a walk today on Randall's Island, which is an island in New York City between Manhattan and Queens and sort of the Bronx also, like up in the northern part of the Hudson East River area. And or not the Hudson, no, the East River side. And there was a massive fire in the Bronx, and there was like this giant cloud of black smoke that filled half the sky. It's kind of crazy. There's all kinds of articles and shit about it and videos of it.
Crazy. Anybody get hurt?
One firefighter had a minor injury, but otherwise no injuries as of the last update that I saw. But it was like a 5-alarm fire. Over 100 firefighters were on the scene.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a junkyard and pallet storage facility. So it's a fuel and fuel storage depot with no fuel.
Yeah.
So let's have a bunch of stuff that can set on fire and then set it on fire.
You forgot to wrap it in fuel too.
It was pretty crazy. Like I was walking around and we saw this plume of smoke. And as we were walking across the footbridge from the island, we got a great view over towards where it was, north of where we were, and it was insane. Like, we heard fire trucks and saw them driving up the west side, the FDR highway. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, 5-alarm fire in New York City.
Hey, at least nobody got hurt. Well, majorly.
Always a plus.
Yeah, that's.
Apparently the fire was so hot that like cars on the street nearby were catching on fire.
Oh yeah, I can believe that.
That is equally terrifying and impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the early indications are that the cause is suspicious.
No, you don't say.
Probably somebody just trying to smoke a cigarette, dropped it in the
week,
wrong spot.
If anything's announced next week, I'll update in next week's podcast.
Nice.
Sounds good. Since I know that Zero is playing World of Warcraft, I mean, I don't even have to look. Let's talk about how Shadowlands will not require an SSD after all. I didn't know this was even a thing, but apparently you were going to be required to have an SSD for a video game?
Yes.
What's this about Zero?
And the reason for that is because, being quite honest, loading WoW off of a standard hard drive is absolute shit.
Like, are we talking GTA, like, online loading times?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, not quite that bad. Maybe a little less. But it was pretty bad. And
GTA loading is its own brand of cancer. That's just a poorly made game. That has nothing to do with your hardware.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at probably this week, because Best Buy's new ad for this week came out today. A friend of mine sent it to me and said, "Hey, by the way, we're running a special on NVMEs." And I was like, "Great, been looking to get one." So I'm thinking I'm going to get a 500 gig.
Dude, I just saw it's the brand is an ADA, and it was like $100. It was a 2 terabyte NVMe, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it was obviously the budget price one, or maybe I'm sorry, 1 terabyte, not 2 terabyte. My bad. 1 terabyte. And the other one, the ADATA SV 8200 or something like that, was only $150. and it was also
I mean,
1 terabyte.
Yeah, $100 for a terabyte is actually pretty damn good for an NVMe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
here's
it's,
the deal for anyone who's paying attention to tech news. Due to a variety of witchcraft and sorcery, there's a tank right now in the market for a solid-state memory. So if you want to go buy, Newegg had deals like last week and the week before that. That's when I bought my new hard drive for NVMe drives. Western Digital, which is kind of a well-known name, 500 gig and 1 terabyte NVMe's for like $70 and $100. So that was kind of
Now,
nuts.
which ones were they? Were they blue or black?
Black.
Okay, that's definitely the better one of the two. If you're not sure which, Western Digital has a blue series and a black series. Black series is the better of the two.
Yeah, the Black Series is definitely your performance drive. Blue Series is budget. It still gets the job done, but that's SSDs. Hard drives, Western Digital Red, still the best for RAID. If you're doing raiding, if you're going raiding, get yourself a Red.
Sure.
I have no fucking idea where I was going with this. Get back to talking about serious things. I'll go back to making fun of Finvara in the Warframe chat.
Yeah,
We were actually talking about SSDs, so.
Yeah, like, okay, whatever, that WoW pulled back on requiring an SSD, but, I mean, that is the march of progress. Eventually we'll get there. We'll see it one day, I'm sure.
Oh, I agree. It was more of a joke than anything is, yeah. Because I could see why having a game being required to be on an SSD would help because, again, loading times.
Yeah, I mean, games are
They're bigger.
For 99% of people who own computers, a game will by far be the most strenuous thing they ever do to their computer.
Oh, for sure.
So it makes sense that, you know, as gaming gets more and more intensive on the system, we're going to get to that point.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked at any of this stuff. I know that Nvidia released something about the 3080 this week, and it was pretty impressive or whatever. I haven't watched it yet, or anything like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know there's a whole bunch of new tech stuff coming, so it'll be kind of cool.
You know, it kind of makes me wonder if this decision to quote unquote announce that it doesn't require an SSD is just their way of saying, like, yeah, you should really have an SSD for gaming, but like we had a bunch of 50-year-old people who play WoW complaining that their Acer and Dell pre-builts from Best.
Oh, we lost him.
Nope, you didn't lose me. Oh, did we lose Doc? Who'd we lose?
Anyway, did I just lose Omega or did we lose Omega? He was like in the middle of talking and then, or am I just Space Cadet over here?
I don't know.
Hey, you're back.
Anyway, yeah, so there's going to be some 50-year-old people play.
We lost you, Omega. Your stuff
Yeah.
broke up.
So there's one thing on here that's just, it was a joke. I'm the only one here who plays Call of Duty, and I don't really care about this, but apparently they're adding a new operator, and he's an Italian cowboy. The only reason this got put on there is back in the day we used to play Ghost Recon Wildlands. And for a while, DrNiggle had this wonderful idea to run around in a cowboy hat. And his character in Ghost Recon Wildlands resembles this guy from Call of Duty, or I should say, let me rephrase that. The guy from Call of Duty greatly resembles Doc's character from Ghost Recon Wildlands. And I'd like Doc's input on this character.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'm back. I apologize. If anybody
He's
even
back.
noticed.
Okay. Yeah, we did. Yeah, you're Italian cowboy. What's your thoughts?
Oh. Yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands. First of all, I'm touched that you remember my cowboy from Wildlands, but I thought that my Scotsman from Breakpoint was slightly more impressive.
Yeah, but your Scotsman from Breakpoint doesn't look just like this guy.
Well, my cowboy from Wildlands didn't really look all that much like this guy either. Aside from the cowboy hat, he's definitely got a cowboy hat. I like it. I approve. The reference to spaghetti westerns is not lost on me.
Yeah, it was I probably won't ever play this guy, but it was fun and interesting. The other one that was fun and interesting on here, and this one Zero absolutely loved. A guy has made Doom playable on a pregnancy test. I don't know why, but
how exactly did that work?
So he apparently had to replace the display and the microcontroller. So the only original part of the tester is a shell. However, getting Doom to run and playable on a 128 by 32 pixel monochrome display at 1 BPP is still an impressive feat.
I mean, yeah,
I'll give him that.
It is.
I also found out, I did not know this, that you can play Doom inside Minecraft. Obviously this takes mods, but yeah, you basically build your own PC in your Minecraft house, and then you install Windows 98, and then you play Doom.
Well, it's just like that whole thing of being able to make phone calls and stuff inside of Minecraft. It's just all in what you're able to do.
Yeah. And apparently this is a whole thing like, will it run Doom?
Actually, something that would be really impressive. Where'd Omega go, by the way?
He was having issues with his audio, I believe.
Yeah, we lost him right before you. Yeah, we were talking about World of Warcraft, and he broke up and disappeared. So I'm assuming he has mic issues.
It's that fucking time of the year when everybody's hardware starts to fail.
Well, that's because Cyber, Monday and Black Friday are just around the corner, and
You think this is a vast conspiracy from Big Computer?
Oh, come on! Why not? I mean, Skynet lives, right?
I agree with you. I think that is a perfectly feasible conspiracy theory, and I'm on board with you 110%.
I mean, I got no other idea. I'm waiting for my CPU to go, because let's face it.
Don't even fucking talk about that.
oh no, I can talk about this because I have a backup one that I can throw in. But this CPU has been overclocked since 2013, and it's an FX 9590 CPU, which is one of AMD's most iconically unstable CPUs they ever made. And they're not really known to last at all. So the fact that I've had one overclocked for 7 years now, it's one of those things.
Yeah,
it's done its job. I got no complaints.
No, it's pretty great. I'm looking forward to along with getting a new hard drive, actually a couple new hard drives, SSDs, sorry, not hard drives, I'm done with hard drives. I'm also going to replace my water cooler, because anyone who has ever owned a Corsair H100, a V2, or anything, really, knows that the Corsair water pumps, not great. Actually pretty shitty. They develop air bubbles, leaks, they have expansion problems, so I'm getting rid of this one that I have, because I'm at the point now whenever I boot up my computer, I go straight into BIOS, because it's got temperature monitoring for my CPU. I watch the CPU go from 29, 30, and it just goes up to 40 and 50, and I'm like, okay, I take off the side of my case and I just start tapping the tubes until the temperature just plummets right back down to 30.
Yep, time to replace that.
It's been time to
Definitely.
replace it for about a year now. I've just been making do with it, but I want a better water cooler, a better cooler just in general for my CPU, because I've got the, it's an Intel i7-5930K. It is a glorious processor. It is still competitive. It's a K series, so obviously you can overclock it. I love it, and I need to take a lot better care of it than I've been taking care of it this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Love that processor. Love it.
I'm definitely looking at upgrading my CPU and my closed loop system as well. I mean, the Kraken X51 or X61 that I have has done me well, but it definitely probably time for an upgrade again. It's aging. This build has been around for a while now, and seen some time.
Goey, I wanted to bring up something with you, actually. We used to have a slogan on this podcast, hashtag Fuck Frontier. I wanted to ask you how's your internet been doing?
It's been solid. I mean, it's still not impressive. It's still fucking 10 megabyte DSL, but they've gotten their shit together at least, so it's not like it's pretty consistent at 10 megabyte DSL. I haven't had too many dips, which is nice. Still no faster internet anywhere on the horizon. I got my hopes up for a little bit. They were putting fiber in. Fiber's gonna stop about 5 miles from my house.
Oof.
Still sharing that speed with your neighbors, though?
Yeah. Everybody in this area still has Frontier, because that's you either have Frontier
DSL.
or you have that like cell phone internet like shit.
Oh, the Gs. They got the 4Gs and the 5Gs. That's what gives people
Yeah,
the
like the well, they got the out here we call it's WeConnect and shit and Bug Tussle, but it basically runs on cell phone GSM band, and it has like a Wi-Fi router that catches the wireless signal, and that's what it does, then pumps it into your house. But it's that I think is capped at 5 megabytes. So you either get hardline Frontier at 10 megabyte DSL or cellular that doesn't always work. Because, oh yeah, I live in the 3% of the United States that isn't covered by T-Mobile and AT&T.
You know what? As soon as we get rid of that, yeah, all right, we should go to that during the podcast. The reason that I ask is because we might be adopting a new slogan, which is hashtag Fuck Spectrum. Omega has been having in and out internet difficulties for the past week or so.
Oh,
that's why he dropped. His internet just straight up died.
Oh, dude. So, yeah, we can definitely fuck Spectrum. We'll start that.
Spectrum actually died earlier this week while we were playing Space Engineers, and his internet just straight up died for about 20 minutes. Came back on for 3 minutes, just enough time for him to boot up Discord, get back in game, fly around a little bit, and get dropped again. And then it went off for another, 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, I remember those days, man. I feel your pain, and
I feel his pain.
Dude, I get it. Oh man, it fucking sucks.
The thing is, they're non-communicative. This is the response. This is the complaint from every single Spectrum customer that I've read. Because Zero and I actually started looking at down.com or whatever, just trying to figure out what was up with Spectrum. And yeah,
look at Charter as well.
Well, I don't know how Charter deals with their customers, but Spectrum apparently does not give you an explanation. Oh, Charter is Spectrum?
Yeah, Spectrum Internet is Charter Spectrum. Yes.
Christ.
So broaden your horizon. You'll understand why I had zero hesitation getting behind that. Because, so cool, funny story. Even if I was to get cable out here, the only cable provider to be out here is Charter Spectrum.
See, as much as you want to, well, no one's ever done this on the podcast, but I have gotten this flack before, because New York City, I think Omega's got like 300 megabyte per second download or some shit like that, and where I am, I get 30/30. So 30 down, 30 up, which is great for me. Say what you want about that solid speed and the ridiculous amount that I pay for it each month, but I have the choice of Charter. Oh, I thought it was Spectrum, but apparently it's Charter, FiOS, Comcast, or whatever the one is that's run by terrorists, Earthlink or something like that. So I have options, and if I get pissed off at FiOS, I can call Verizon and be like, you know what? I'm just going to go to your competition. And as much as they're in league with all their competition, it's all a vast conspiracy, which, again, 110% on board with your conspiracy theories, Gobi. They don't like losing customers. So
They hate
there's
it.
that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, but you have options. Like, you got options. You can go to, 4 different companies and have the same basic speeds. You have options.
I can, yes. Also, I can threaten voodoo on them. I can say that I'm going to make an effigy of their tech support manager or some shit like that and burn it in my backyard. That usually terrifies them. What else can I do?
Oh, we were just
That
talking
also-
about
Sacrificing chickens. All my
also-
neighbors
that
have
also-
chickens. They don't notice when one goes missing, so chicken sacrifice is definitely in there.
Right. We're not
so
religious, but
whenever you say burning an effigy, that also gets you added to an FBI watch list. So,
Which one? I'm probably already on it.
I'm just curious. Like, out here, we have these. All right, again, we're going to touch on religion. We're not religion. Do you guys have Jehovah's Witnesses that go door to door?
yeah,
Of course. Yeah, of course.
they're
They're usually
everywhere.
very pleasant people. I just think it's funny that they knock on my house because I live directly across from a giant fucking church.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So yeah. Well, we won't go into that any more than that.
Lovely
That'll be on the
people.
post show.
If you can get them talking about anything other than Jesus, they're
Yes.
lovely people. You can have wonderful conversations with them, and they appreciate tea and crumpets. It gets hot
You know what they-
walking around all day.
You know what they don't appreciate, though?
Lots of things. We
you
can't
answering
go
the-
into that.
You answering the door with no clothing on. They don't appreciate that at all.
No clothing? I've never done that. Just underwear or a bathrobe? Yeah, I've done that. Look, it's my house.
Yeah,
They're
right?
locked.
We could go into a whole segment of stupid shit you've done like that, but we probably shouldn't.
It's not stupid shit. It's etiquette 101. How to appropriately answer the door to your own house when it's Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning and you really don't feel like entertaining.
Answering in your underwear is a completely valid door answering at that appropriate time of day. I mean, followed by "What the fuck are you doing here?" is completely acceptable.
The other thing that you can totally do, as long as your significant other or family don't mind you smoking in the house, is answer the door in your state where marijuana is legal, smoking a big fat blunt.
Yeah, they don't appreciate that at all.
Again, legal in the state of Massachusetts.
Right. Only do that in legal states. Legal. And,
Colorado, Massachusetts, where else? Oregon?
California.
there's 36
California.
of them.
There are a lot. There are a lot of places where recreational marijuana is legal now. Get on board, rest of the United States.
Soon to be Texas, believe it or not. If Texas gets it before Virginia, I'm going to be slightly pissed off.
Now,
wonder-
see,
actually, I wonder how
I
it
really
grows in
want
Texas.
Texas to get it. I really want, because if Texas gets it, there's no fucking reason that Wisconsin shouldn't.
All I'm going to say is to grow it in Texas, hydroponics.
You could. I'm just wondering, I don't know. First, marijuana is a weed. It is literally a weed. It grows anywhere. In
pretty much any conditions.
pretty much any. Yeah. If you're not in the tundra line where nothing grows, then you can probably grow weed.
I mean, not that we get into soup, but where you grow it will affect the quality, obviously, of the final products. So I've been told, because it's not legal in this state, and I'm a perfect angel. Yep. Speaking on, moving on to the truth. When did this become a rivalry, by the way? When did Bethesda and
Say it again.
Obsidian have a rivalry?
Are you being facetious or are you being for real right now?
No, I just want to hear
No,
him pronounce
it's-
rivalry.
There's an article. I mean, it's apparently a thing between Skyrim and Avowed.
Ever since Obsidian outdid what Bethesda could do with a Fallout game, Bethesda has hated them and hates to even speak about them.
Okay, so it's a legit thing. Like, this is actually okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely legit.
I just, assumed that it was clickbait title, because they go in talking about how Bethesda has made some blunders, and mistakes within years.
Not
Fallout
Bethesda.
76. I mean, granted, I have been playing Fallout 76, and it is in a much, much better state now than it was when it released. They should have just called that the alpha, and then the beta, and then just made Wastelanders the 1.0 release, and they probably wouldn't have gotten any flack.
For
Alright, fuck
anyone
it, they would have
listening-
gotten a flack.
For anyone else who's listening and wondering, Bethesda is the Midwestern version of Bethesda.
Yes, it is. Plus,
Perfectly
sometimes I
normal.
just be doing this to fuck with you guys.
Perfectly normal, perfectly healthy. Yeah, they don't like each other. That's the nerd who runs Bethesda, who was like captain of the chess club, notoriously, doesn't really like Obsidian.
Yeah, so you must be going all the way back to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
That is exactly where it started.
Okay. I don't know much about them other than they exist and one was made by one and the other.
Well, see, here's the thing. Bethesda decided, okay, we want to do a Fallout game in between 3 and 4, but we don't want to do it. We want somebody else to do it so that we can focus on other things. And yeah, when they gave it to Obsidian to do, Obsidian kind of created an instant classic in the fact that anybody who's ever played the entire series from front to back will tell you that New Vegas was the better Fallout game. And I mean, even as somebody who just picked up Fallout in Fallout 4, I then went back and played Fallout 3 in New Vegas, and I can tell you that New Vegas is better. The storyline's better, the mechanics are better, the choices are better.
Mods are better.
The mods are better. It feels like you have more freedom in that game.
No, I totally agree. New Vegas is definitely the better of the two games between Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Yeah.
So
We could
yeah,
talk about-
the whole article behind this is we didn't even talk about. Let's see, what the thing
No,
is
it's
called.
Avowed.
Avowed is
Yeah.
the game out of Obsidian that's going to rival Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, supposedly, and it's set to be a large first-person RPG that will take place in the world of Eora, which, if you ever played Pillars of Eternity, it's a pretty good game. It's that same setting for this RPG as it was for that RTS, or turn-based RTS. So...
my only issue with that is part of Skyrim's considerable charm is the mods and the ability to make it into whatever you want. So hopefully Avowed gives us moddable ability.
Yeah, if Obsidian really likes sticking it to Bethesda, then I imagine they would throw mod support in there. I hope they do, at least.
I mean, I'm not a huge hack and slash RPG kind of guy. I did see some of Avowed, and it did look super pretty. And obviously, these guys know how to make a world and a story, so it's probably going to be worth checking out. I don't know if it'll be a day one buy for me, but it's probably something I'll look at in the future. They also announced DLC for the Outer Worlds, which I think Leetness has played, but I don't know if any of us have played it.
I haven't played it.
I've heard good things about it, but I've never actually played it or picked it up.
Now, I've seen good things, and a couple of the guys that I work with have played it, and they say it's pretty good. So,
Yeah, man, I've heard good things. It's just one of those games. It's, I don't know, not really my thing, so I haven't really picked it up. Yeah,
We talked about this before. Outer Worlds is the game where there's a great YouTube video. Go search YouTube for "A Psychopath Plays Outer Worlds." It's a fantastic video.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the space games, we can talk about Hello Games, and which is the No Man's Sky developer.
You want to talk about outer space games? Yeah, I suppose we could talk about No Man's Sky going crossplay,
and then we can talk about.
That's neat.
Well, yeah, that actually happened a while ago, but yeah.
There's also Warframe, but we can put off talking about Warframe.
Well, no, we definitely need to talk about Warframe because we actually put that off because you weren't here last week.
Warframe.
Yeah. So obviously this isn't about No Man's Sky. Apparently, Hello Games is working on a huge new game. We'll see how that works out. Hopefully they decide to do alpha and beta test this one so they don't, have another No Man's Sky. Don't get me wrong, I mean the game now is way better now than it was on launch, but it also took them 2 years to get there?
Yeah, and it's still, the core of the game is still broke.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those, the game design kind of sucked, but I mean I get it, but
should have
been
just
better.
designed it as a co-op game.
Oh, for sure. I mean it would drop in, drop out support, and the whole being able to share shit, that's kind of ridiculous.
But yeah, they're obviously capable of doing great things. They're obviously capable of maintaining their games and making meaningful additions to them, even if what they're doing right now is adding meaningful additions to an essentially broken game. They have the ability to do these things. So if Hello Games would like to come out with the next No Man's Sky, which is actually based first and foremost as a co-op game, I am happy to see what they come up with.
Oh, I agree. I mean, No Man's Sky is definitely a single-player game that allows you to bring friends with.
I would like there to be space magic.
Yes, space magic.
So you want it to be Destiny? Got it.
No, not Destiny. No, not that kind of space. I want good space magic. I want
there you go.
Wizards. Pantsless blue wizards with space magic. And tiny little guns that when you shoot them blow up planets.
Ooh,
so you want like the tiny cricket from Men in Black?
Yes, that times about 1,000. Good reference.
Nice.
Oh, and yes. So what? We're gonna go throw back. We can talk about the Crisis remaster.
No,
yeah?
Fuck all this.
Did it run it?
Ages. No, it's been ages since we talked about the next Mass Effect game. We talked earlier this year when they had plans for a new Mass Effect game coming out. I've been watching, the YouTube movies of all the Mass Effect gameplays just because, I got back into the story and I was like, oh, I kind of want to play, but I don't want to play. I'd rather just watch this while I work. And I am now paying attention to the news that is coming out about the things that they are revealing are going to be in Mass Effect 5, which I don't think has an official title yet. But they've been releasing things like worlds and characters who are coming back that are going to be in Mass Effect 5. And I think this week what they revealed was the Solarian homeworld of Sakesh. So if anybody remembers the Solarians, the salamander people who only live like 20, 30, 40 years and talk really super fast and have extremely high metabolisms and are pretty crafty, we supposedly in Mass Effect 5 will be able to get to their homeworld and actually take a look around and see and learn more about, I think it was SRT, STR, Special Tactics and Reconnaissance or something like that. They have a covert group, military elites that they work with the Turians and the Asari with.
Morden.
Yeah, Morden was an excellent character from Mass Effect 2 and 3.
I hated having to fucking send him to his death in the Spire, but
spoilers. If you haven't played Mass Effect 3 by now, what the fuck are you doing with your life? But yeah, he did.
Sorry,
there's
a 15-year-old game. Like, fuck you. No spoilers.
Is there any way to save him in Mass Effect 3, or is it just, No. He's done.
You either shoot him or he commits suicide. And I always let the guy go out in style, man. I mean, you can't shoot your friend in the back.
No, I mean, and besides, he's undoing the genophage. He's curing the genophage because it's the right thing to do.
It? Like,
he assisted in making the revised version of it because the Krogan started to adapt. Yeah, the Krogan started to adapt to the original genophage, and the Solarians caught wind of that and were like, okay, we need to modify it. So Morden was on the team that modified it.
Now, I'm still curious. You still think there's trilogy remaster coming?
No, probably not. But I'm okay with that. What I'm really wondering about as all these things come out about Mass Effect 5, I know there were actually 4 endings to Mass Effect 3, and
yep.
I'm wondering how they're going to finagle their way around that. I don't know enough about this game coming out to know if it's a prequel or a companion piece that occurred at the same time, but depending on what ending you chose in Mass Effect 3, a game that came after that it'd be one of 3 completely different games.
I want to say, well, no, either the Reapers are in control or they're eradicated. I don't think there was a third option.
So you can eradicate the Reapers so that they all die. You can control the Reapers,
which is a Paragon ending. You die if you eradicate the Reapers.
You can control the Reapers, where you basically impart your essence into the Reapers and you are in control of them and they help to rebuild the galaxy and all the rest of that. You can choose transference, which is the merging of the biological or the organic and the inorganic. So everyone essentially becomes a cyborg, which is an awesome ending because there's no need for the Reapers after that. Everyone is just the pinnacle, the apex of evolution. Like, you impart this massive gift to the entire universe, and everything ends up pretty swell. Or you can do absolutely nothing. The Reapers wipe everybody out, and you get that special cutscene at the end where it goes beneath this, there's this beautiful field with these trees and this grass flowing. There's not a person or a building in sight. And the camera pans underground to this tiny little station that Liara has set up, and it's just this, time capsule that's just we couldn't do it, but we've enclosed all this data for you to try and survive the next cycle. Maybe you'll have better luck than we did. So there are 4 different endings to Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, I could see, as long as they don't make you Shepard in this next game, it's relatively easy to circumvent that.
There is also one of those endings results in Shepard surviving.
Now, see, this is the debate that everybody has with the Paragon ending. So you technically die as Shepard, but at the very end, his hand comes up, or her hand, whichever one you choose, it comes up, and then the game ends. And so it did, the whole Shredder moment from the Turtles, for you geeks that are as old as I am. Is he really dead? Is she really dead?
Oh wait, no, that was the first one, not Secret of the Ooze. Was it?
Yeah. That is a damn.
Whatever. I know the scene that you're talking about.
Right. I mean, so they could say he didn't really die, and they have another scene like they did in Mass Effect 2, where they rebuild him or her. Sorry, I keep saying him.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's either or. Shepard is a man or a female,
Yeah.
or a man or a woman, depending on what you want to play, which is it's
Yeah.
a nice thing. I'm not sure how popular that was in 2007 when the game came out.
I
2008.
Yeah, I do play through both usually. I think my last Mass Effect playthrough is a Fem Shep version.
And you still ended up getting it on with Liara.
Duh. Mass Effect 1 is Liara or fucking A. Yep. It's one of them nights. Yeah. I'm not even gonna try it again. Mass Effect 2 is Miranda if I don't fuck it up somehow in like the first 15 minutes.
Which you can do.
I still don't know which fucking conversation when it is, but somehow in the first 15 minutes you select a certain conversation and you screw your romance with Miranda, and I can't remember which one it is. And the other way to do it is if you side with Jack at any point. Doesn't matter what it is, if you side with Jack at any point in the game, you lose the chance to romance Miranda.
I just can't stand. I love Yvonne Strahovski. I just don't like Miranda. The other thing that you can really screw up is Mass Effect 3 with Ashley Williams. There's one line of dialogue at the very beginning, and there's another line of dialogue later on, where if you get either of those wrong, you get the bad end, or you get the bad ending to the Udina story, and you have to like shoot her or something, and you end up killing her. It's a really fucking finicky mechanic in Mass Effect 3 as well.
You basically got to do the full Paragon. Yeah, you got to do a full Paragon in order to keep from shooting Ashley in the Udina. Is like, there's also, if you play the romance with Ashley and Liara right, you can you don't actually get a threesome, but like you can romance them both all the way to the end of the game. And and then you basically choose right at the end which one. And I mean, come on, that's a no-brainer. But for me, I don't know if I've actually done a full Ashley romance.
I gotta Google something real quick.
The other thing is, it should be noted, if you carry your save, you have to carry your save from Mass Effect 1 all the way to Mass Effect 3. It's the only way I believe you can play as Kaidan or have Kaidan in Mass Effect 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because you got to save him in Mass Effect 1 too. So again, spoiler rights. You have to choose between Ashley or Kaidan at the beginning of the game.
And usually I send Kaidan to his death because he just annoys me.
Yes, it's like, which one of these two annoy me less? Yep, sorry, Kaidan.
Alright, so apparently Reddit debunked the theory that in Mass Effect Andromeda you can have a threesome, so that isn't a thing. I was gonna go off on a tiff about that, but nope, turns out it's not a thing. No problem.
No, with mods, you can, again, get almost there, but I don't think they've wrote that programming into the game. I mean, I think it's technically possible with the conversation settings, but I don't think that the actual mechanic for the 3 people in the bed is in the game. And that's why there's no actual threesomes.
The other thing about Mass Effect Andromeda was it was a bold step. I think the biggest problem was the bugs, the implementation of the game, and the second biggest problem was probably their main characters were not as good as Shepard was, Fem Shep or Male Shep. So I'm curious. I don't know enough about the new Mass Effect game coming out to know who our main character is going to be.
I mean, I actually liked Andromeda. I like the exploration more than the wartime. It was a nice change of pace in a Mass Effect game. I enjoyed exploring a lot of the worlds. I liked having the Nomad back. I didn't know how much I missed that from Mass Effect 1 until I got it again. The multiplayer in Andromeda was very well done as well. I really enjoyed it. The maps they chose were very good. It's got good pacing. The objectives are nice. The loot crate system, again, it's that tried and true system that none of us like, but we kind of all deal with because it's the new norm. I will give them credit. It's not pay to win. You can't, whatever. Which is nice. Not that, I mean, it's co-op game, so how do you really pay to win anyway? But yeah, even my son really likes, just jumping into the Nomad and driving around and just exploring planets. They did a pretty good job. I do wish there were more explorable planets. I wish they had done some DLC so we could have seen the Solarian arc and stuff like that. Because there were some storylines that they kind of just left wide open, which sucked.
Yeah. But again, just the scope of the Mass Effect game, especially 2 and 3. 1 was huge at the time. Going back to it, it seems much smaller. 2 was enormous compared to 1, and going back to it, it's still, it's pretty big. 3 was even bigger, and going back to it, it is still an enormous game with a shit ton of stuff to do. It is easily a 60-hour game if you are playing through it or trying to do most of the content, or if you have all the DLC and you're a completionist like I am, it's more than 60 hours.
I think we've done this before, but I just for shits and giggles we'll do it. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 I have a stupid amount of hours in, and it's I have all the DLC. Absolutely loved it. And I still play. It's still installed.
So here's the thing. I have Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3 collector's editions actually on the shelf right next to me, and they're all DVD installations. I got those games and played them before Origin existed, so I have no idea how many hours I have into those games.
Yeah, I have 148 hours basically into Mass Effect 3. It's installed on my rig and my laptop. Again, it's not even close to stock. I play fully modded with HD textures and a bunch of other random mods. But I've also completed the game how many times?
Yeah, a bunch. Zero, did you ever get into Mass Effect?
I played a little bit of Mass Effect 1, none of Mass Effect 2. 3, I got about halfway through, and then I started Andromeda multiple times, but got depressed about halfway into the beginning sequence.
Yeah. Depressed because of the story, or because of the graphic bugs, or just because Shepard wasn't there anymore?
All of it. When I actually did make it off of the initial planet and onto the first planet in Andromeda, but it's one of those things where it just didn't feel right. Something about that did not feel right.
I will say the gunplay could have been a little tighter in Andromeda. It felt sloppy, but okay, that's my biggest complaint. That's all I got.
It was a little sloppy, and then they went back to the thing where the pistol was the most OP gun in the game. You didn't need any gun except for the pistol. That's it. You could one-shot just about anything on any difficulty.
Oh yeah, the Sidewinder level 10. Oh, dude, that thing is fucking amazing.
It's that's great in a game like Halo, where your pistol is fucking OP, you've got 17 shots in it, or however many shots, and then you'll maybe never find a pistol on that level again, and then you'll get it sometime else. It doesn't work in a game like Mass Effect where you have a loadout before every single mission, and you're picking up ammo along the way.
Right.
But
I mean, you're
just- there's
basically
no
just
point-
one-shotting everything.
Yeah, so there's no point to the loadout at all. Just get the pistol, and that's all you need.
Yep.
But the other thing, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, you have Mark Meer doing the Commander Shepard, the voice of male Commander Shepard, and Jennifer Hale doing female FemShep. Those two have phenomenal voices.
Yes, they
The
do.
voices really made the characters. You're listening to Commander Shepard, male or female, talk a lot. And those two voice actors did an absolutely incredible job. The voice actors in Andromeda for the male and female protagonists did a
We're
great
lame.
job. Their voices suited those characters, but there wasn't a whole hell of a lot to like about those characters until you got about halfway or further through the game. Just because you didn't really have a backstory. You were a kid. The whole premise of the game was that you were customizing your character as you went along. Your personality developed based off what conversation choices you took. And
Except
if
for
you
it never
didn't know
developed.
that, yeah, if you didn't know that and you didn't, have like a clear line direction where you wanted to take the character, your character became something that was just like an evolution of random crap that you spouted out before. Maybe it was a reflection of you, maybe it was just, again, some space magic, who knows. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough to beat. Mark Meer especially, it's just tough to beat that kind of voice acting. And I don't think that they're going to have Commander Shepard back in Mass Effect 5, so I don't really know what they're going to do for a main character. I don't know who you're going to be. I don't know if it's going to be good.
It's just as long as they have an Asari that is not Phoebe.
God, she
Yeah.
was annoying.
Look, here's the other thing. You know my theory about Mass Effect Andromeda. They shipped up all the ugly people in the Milky Way and they sent them to a different galaxy. That's how that worked. So, assuming we're back in the Milky Way galaxy, we're going to have attractive characters again. And hopefully some attractive voices to go along with the attractive characters. And maybe things will just, feel and look better.
Right.
Yeah, I'm shallow. I think the characters in Mass Effect Andromeda are ugly.
All right. So we only got a few minutes left, and we got to talk about our sponsors, GOG Games. So, CD Projekt Red said, "Fuck you" to the $69.99 pricing for next-gen versions of Cyberpunk 2077. Thank you for having a head on your shoulders and not having your head up your ass. We as gamers appreciate this.
Who decided that they were going to sell their game for that amount of money? Because it wasn't them. Who just decided to slap $69.99 on it?
2K Games.
Activision and EA have already expressed their enthusiasm for selling PS5 and Xbox Series X games at $69.99. And CD Projekt Red said, "Fuck that."
Why are they enthusiastic about making their games more expensive than PC games?
Because, and I quote, the reasoning was, and I quote, with the evolution of gaming hardware, we need to make more money. Fuck off. Okay?
Yep.
All I'm going to say is, and everybody mark it on your fucking calendars. September 7th of 2020, I am going to say something nice about Bungie. Bungie is doing their shit right. Whether it be
Hold up.
Shut up, Goldie. He's trying to get through it.
Whether it be the fact that even on next gen consoles, whether it be PC or console, Bungie is doing base price for their game is going to be $35 unless you get the special edition, in which it's going to cost extra. And then it will be $10 for each DLC, and you don't have to have the last piece to play the next piece.
Goddamn, Zero. 10:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, September 7th, 2020. Zero Burn 75 said something nice about Bungie.
I mean, they are, these companies have, it has gotten so bad and they have become so greedy that, and look, I get it, capitalism, yay capitalism, but
Hey, the gaming industry isn't about gamers, Zero. It's about shareholders.
oh no,
Money.
and
And
look,
microtransactions.
I work for a Fortune 500 company. Trust me, I know all about board directors and stuff, but even at that, I don't see half of the stuff that I see coming out of the gaming industry in the industry that I'm in.
Dude, they're just, yeah. They see people have given them ways to make money and they're just going to keep doing it. I mean, all right, we already talked about it. So, Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer. Oh, good news. It will have multiplayer. Bad news. It will have microtransactions. Who would have guessed it? Did anybody here guess it? Oh, wait. We all did.
Yeah, we all pretty much called that there were going to be microtransactions, but they promised us the microtransactions wouldn't be aggressive and that they wouldn't be for anything but cosmetics. Also, it's you know, whatever. Whatever. If it's a finished game, I'm still counting it in the pro category.
I mean, as long as it's, you know,
if it comes out,
not
there's a
pay
day
to
one
win,
patch.
and I mean, no, as you know, as far as the microtransactions go, I think we're at the point where they're just standard issue. Like in a multiplayer game where you have character customization, you're gonna have microtransactions. Like that's just where we at. That's the world we live in.
The last time I tried to explain to someone that the world is because that's how the world is, like you just did, Gobi, I got told that I'm the reason why the gaming industry is going to shit. So,
well, I probably
put that in
am
your
the
pipe
reason.
and chew it.
I probably am part of the reason why the gaming industry is going to shit, and I don't give a fuck. Because that's what I'm supposed to say, right? Yes, that is.
That's
but
what the kids say.
That's what the cool say. Yeah. It will apparently have DLC and expansions as well. Those will be revealed soon. It is going to have a full-fledged multiplayer component. But they haven't really said much more about the multiplayer component, if it's going to be a PvP or like co-op. So I'm more interested to see what the multiplayer is in the game. I'm hoping it's open world co-op myself, but
I'm also hoping there's open world co-op, and I'm hoping that there are activities for people to do on a daily basis that keep them coming back to do open world co-op. I want this to be Division in the future without any of the bugs that the Division had.
I mean, I would just not the bullet sponges. Like
Yeah,
I can
not any of the bugs or the mechanics that the Division had.
I mean, I don't say I will go that far. I mean, I don't mind the Division and the minor bugs, whatever. I can deal with them. I don't like the bullet sponges.
2 years.
I like
2 years after launch, when they finally got fixed, and now that's all you can remember. You didn't mind dealing with the bugs.
Well, I mean, okay. Again, I have almost 400 hours into the game, so
Yeah.
I mean, I've been pretty steady. I mean, it hasn't bothered me too much. But again, I do wish that the time to kill was more in line with something like Destiny 2 or Ghost Recon Wildlands or Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Like, instead of emptying a clip into a guy, like, I get they have armor, but I mean, they don't need to be as big as bullet sponges as they are.
Do they have armor over their eyes? If so, what happens if I shoot them in the eye?
That's again that's my issue with the way they do armor. Like the bosses, they made this whole, like the mini bosses and the heavies, they made dynamic armor. So like if you shoot their arm, like their arm plate comes off. If you shoot their helmet comes off. Okay, that's cool. So why can't I bypass an enemy's complete armor bar if I shoot them in the face?
So that was my problem. Actually, with Wildlands, it was one of the few problems that I had. Do you remember the heavies that they had for the whatever, the
You
purple?
have to. It takes 2 shots. Yes, 2
Yeah,
shots. 1 shot to take the helmet, and 1 shot to headshot them.
So their helmets, not all of their helmets had the face shield in front of them, and they had the little, like, the eye holes
Opening.
basically in their
Yep.
in their mask. So I was actually good, believe it or not, I was actually good at a video game for a short period of time. I got good enough that I could shoot them with my sniper rifle directly in the eyeball. And when I shot them in the eyeball, their helmet popped off. That made no fucking sense to me. That's what I mean in terms of bullet sponges and these mechanics that the Division and a lot of Ubisoft games have. If you want to put a lot of armor on a guy, I totally get it. If I'm shooting him in the chest in the bulletproof vest, he's not going to be a one-shot kill. Unless I have an anti-material rifle, in which case it should go right through just about anything. But if they're not
hitting
wearing
them in
face
the arms,
shield,
in the head, should do damage to their health bar, not to their armor bar. Like, you know, that minor tweak. I'm not even joking. That minor tweak would completely change the Division. Like
Warframe actually has that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, again, Warframe is another one of those games that has that. I'll call it the perfect time to kill in a PvE shooter. Like, I can run around with an AR and kill most enemies in, a few rounds. I can, a couple enemies per clip. I'm fine with that. And, bosses, they take a few more bullets, but they're bosses. I'm okay with that. But they're not, like, stupidly hard unless you're way out of your level. And then, well, you're just dumb.
So the way it works in Warframe is some enemies have armor, other enemies have shields. Enemies with armor and shields have weak points on them. Mostly the head. If you can shoot a guy in the head, in a weak spot, on his head, say, and you do it with enough damage to take out his, all of his health, it will bypass. It'll bypass armor, it'll bypass shields. It will just, it'll kill him outright. If you don't hit him in the weak point, it works down his armor.
Mass Effect have that same...
down his shields. I don't remember enough about the gameplay of the first Mass Effect game to say that. I do remember that I was in love with headshots in that game, though.
Yeah, because I know, there's certain things that, bypass, a guy can have armor and a shield, and, certain things bypassed, a shield and did damage directly to the armor and shit like that. So I know that, other games in the past have had it. Again, Mass Effect, game perfect time to kill, enemies weren't massive bullet sponges. Some of them were, but it had a good mix.
The big heavies were. Mass Effect 2 also introduced those giant mechs that came out. Those things were fucking badass. Those, again, had a weak point. You could shoot the guy who was controlling the mech. If you killed the guy, you got a headshot on the guy controlling the mech. He fell out of the mech, and the mech was yours.
Glorious. So glorious.
Yeah, EA did good. BioWare did really good with the Mass Effect trilogy. And then Andromeda came out, and that's a whole different thing.
Andromeda was a shit show.
They did some really good things with the game, and they did some really horrible
Mass
things.
Effect Andromeda was a game with a brilliant concept and a really fun, engaging storyline behind it, and the execution just sort of fell apart because two studios were arguing back and forth, and nobody could get on the same page. Bad communication, bad coordination, and the execution was spoiled.
Yep.
Good times.
Pretty much. I will say again, we should touch on again. They need to make more games crossplay.
They do. Is Cyberpunk 2077 going to be crossplay?
I don't know, but I swear, okay, so somebody in the Warframe chat was saying that now Xbox and PS4 are no longer behind Is that?
Yes. This, you could speculate that this is because of the ongoing negotiations with Tencent, boo, to buy Digital Extremes. Consoles content and PC content are getting same date releases. Before this, for Plains of Eidolon expansion years ago, like a decade ago when Plains of Eidolon came out, PC got it first, and then a month, 2 months later, it came to console after all the bugs had been worked out. Heart of Demos, that just came out, released same day for PS4, Xbox, and PC. I want to say Switch as well, but I don't know. So PC is obviously still getting the most hot fixes, but
Right.
the content is there for all consoles.
So, I mean, not this is just us hoping again, but the possibility of Warframe crossplay could become a possibility because I mean I know that was one of the things that
No.
was holding it. No.
No, absolutely not. Because of the hot fixes that the PC receives pretty much on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis, we get hot fixes for balance, for small bugs, glitches, stuff like that. The versions of Warframe are always going to be disparate. They might be the same for console. Console might have crossplay, but PC is always going to be the odd one out because PC gets updated the most frequently and the game version changes most frequently. So unless they can work a way around that, no, crossplay between PC and console is not going to be possible for Warframe for a while, for the foreseeable future.
Well, I mean, yeah, the only way they could do that is if they did the hot fixes inside the game.
How so?
Well, like Modern Warfare does. You get a 200 gigabyte or 200 megabyte patch like every couple of days, but you download it in the game server side for on like Xbox. On PC, I download the patch manually through the BattleNet launcher, but on Xbox, they download a patch in the background while the game's running, and they have to restart the game.
How is that different from game? Is that like a way to circumvent? No, that can't be, because there's like quality testing for consoles. You have to go through a compatibility check and all the rest of that. And
Yeah.
I thought Microsoft and Sony charged for that. That's the whole reason why you don't get frequent updates on console. Is Blizzard just paying out the ass for COD?
Well, or it could be a back-end server update that they only do to the Xbox and PS4 servers, so it's not like a client update, and they just have to restart their client to fetch the new list from the server.
I mean, I didn't know that about COD. That's an interesting thing that I would look into.
Yeah,
That's
because
definitely a way to get around it. I support crossplay on Warframe, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't think that was possible from a monetary standpoint because of the charge that Microsoft and Sony have.
I totally agree. I mean, otherwise it's like once a month, they basically bundle all the hot fixes that they did for PC, and once a month they push them out to consoles, so they don't have to pay out the ass like you're saying. But I know, like, if I booted up Call of Duty right now, I'd have like a 200 megabyte update, and it's like a playlist update is what they call it. So I don't know if that's how they get around it, because that's all it really is they're just updating the playlist, and like the tournament playlist, the game files don't actually change. It's only the server files that change. So that's
Interesting.
possibly how they don't pay out the ass for it.
It's on server side, not on.
Right, it's not client side, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's how they're getting around it. So I mean, if Warframe could figure out a way to do other patching server side, I mean, then they could maybe technically do crossplay.
I'm not sure, but all right, yeah. So anyway,
yeah, it's one of those things. Again, a dream of ours to have Warframe crossplay. Because just as fantasy speaking here, I mean, Warframe does become crossplay. I mean, how big does our alliance get then? Because I mean, and hey, wait, and then Switch might actually be viable because the rest of us can carry them.
Wow. All right. Well, Good podcast.
Yeah, I don't have a round table. And, yep. Fuck it. We're out of here. You guys have a good night. Peace.
Yep.
Our round table. Why do men have nipples?
It's a very
What?
valid question, actually.
It's an evolutionary standpoint thing. It's because we're all chicks when the cells start dividing. We're all female, and then a hormone gets released later on, and depending on whether or not it does, we turn male. So everybody gets nipples, but that's the scientific reason. The practical reason is magic. Men have nipples for magic because magic is where nipples are where the magic comes from. It's where
And
magic
piercings.
is stored. Yes, also piercings. That's where the piercings are stored. Anyway, later.